Hello and welcome to Trial TV Live. I am the Squeegee of Justice. Thank you so much for joining us today as we are going to be picking up on Florida versus Stephan Sterns. I just want to do a quick mic check here. All right, so this is Stephan's final pre-trial before his scheduled full trial is going to start on the 15th. So just right around the corner. And I am so happy to be joined today by our co-host, Jules. Hello, Jules. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm so happy that you are joining us, and you have obviously an interest in this. When we were at Sarah Boone, we talked about going to this trial together, but it's not working out for myself for various reasons. Not working out for you for your reasons, and I'm happy that this is the next best thing that we can do.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed, but it is what it is. I can't do it. And,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would have attempted to do it, but my son is like, X nay,
Mm-hmm.
you're not doing it.
Right,
And,
right.
and so, yeah, but you're right. This is the next best way. And hopefully I will have some contacts of people that are actually in there, so we can get a little updates and stuff like that from inside the courtroom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. No, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to connecting with those people, those connections, and maybe we can have a call in here or there, or at least get some insider information that we would have from you being there. Now, I'm excited because with Sarah Boone, I was on the outside running the tech and the video. You were actually on the inside, so I'm more than excited to actually be sharing this space with you, because I feel like I didn't have this with you with Sarah. We were separate.
Yeah, we were separated for that. That was crazy because, well, we wouldn't have been separated for it had they had, the hookup inside of the courthouse as opposed to the way they had it, which was outside. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, even with Ashley, when we did the sentencing, I still wasn't able to go into the courtroom. You were in the courtroom. I was still in the media room, which
but
was fine.
but in the media room, didn't they have a window so you can see?
Not with Ashley. Yeah, not with
Oh,
Ashley. Yeah. Nope. It was, well, you know what? Okay. So there were two rooms. We were basically in a broom closet or, you
mhm.
know, one of those. Um, and like they crammed, like there was probably like 15 or 20 people in this little room, probably like a 10 by 10 room. But then they had this other room that said media only. And I think that's where whatever channel was covering it and streaming it, that's where they were. So they didn't want us in there. They put us in the utility closet. So
That was a crazy day.
it really was. All right, so let's just do a quick little why we're here. All right, so we're here for Madeline Soto, right? So she had just turned 13, February 22nd. Her mom's boyfriend, Stephan Sterns, said that he dropped her off at school on the 26th, which was a Monday. Uh, then I think Jennifer went to go pick her up, and they discovered that she was missing. So they put out a, bulletin, missing child, Amber Alert, all of that. Eventually, they did find Madeline on the 1st, which was Friday. And then they were looking, at Stephan. They asked for his phone to see what his GPS indicated, and what they found was thousands of pictures and videos of Madeline in compromising situations and positions. I'll just put it at that. So now there are two trials. His trials are being split. The first one, which is starting on the 15th, which is just around the corner, July 15th, is going to be for the essay. So for all those videos, and apparently and Jennifer, the mom, was okay with them, cuddling together, sleeping in the same bed together, this whole thing, right? And we've done videos, we've done deep dives on that. And Jules will be joining us And we'll be doing some more deep dives on this on the 14th and 15th as jury selection kicks in. But we're just giving you like a 30,000 foot view right now. So they found all these videos and images. So the first trial on the 15th is going to be for that. Then the second trial, which is September 22nd, is going to be for the deletion of Madeline. So that's like a high level. Jules, do you want to add anything to that before I move on to the sheriff?
With the documents that I have read, they were pretty, they zeroed in on him very quickly. Obviously, the phone was a dead giveaway, but even the investigation itself was so thorough. And I mean, look at how quickly they found her. How, the gentleman that saw him and his car with a flat tire, had it not been for him contacting law enforcement right away, we would not be here today, because we don't know how long it would have taken to find her. But
Right.
they zeroed in, look, it is what it is. We need justice for Maddie.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. And you've watched the police interview with Jennifer. You've seen that, yeah. So yeah,
part of me buys it, and the other half of me doesn't. You know, so because me personally, I think she should have been charged at the very least with child neglect. I mean, because who does that? What mother lets their daughter, and for all intents and purposes, from the stuff that I read, this had been going on since she was 8 years old. Come on, my granddaughter is 9.
Yeah,
it's just wrong. It's wrong, and I really think that she should have been charged. Now, on that note, I'll say that what do you call it? Maybe she has something to offer, and they gave her immunity to testify against him. We don't know that. Okay. We just don't know that. This is pure speculation on my part. But we'll see if she testifies and what she has to add.
Do you think she'll testify then for the state or for the defense? Because she was backing Stephan all over the place, right? But then she was also throwing him under the bus, calling him all kinds of names when she saw the pictures, right? I think that's when she was like, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but there's a little story behind that. She asked to see, she wanted to see pictures. I have to word this very delicately.
Sure.
So they showed her a picture of Stephan's
you can just
part, and it was in that child's orifice. Okay, and she didn't believe it. Okay, she did not believe it. She says, I can't see that. So they were like, fine, we'll show you some more. And then as they started pulling them out and saying, do you recognize this now? And that's when she was like, oh my God, I had no idea. I'm not buying the I have no idea part.
Yeah. Well, she knew for sure that they would cuddle together, and she would say she needed to go to sleep or she needed to have a good night's sleep. So she's like, it's okay if they go and cuddle. So she knew that at the very least.
Cuddle,
Well,
cuddle.
that's what she would say, right?
I know that's what
That
she
was
said, but
that was her
I mean,
words.
I can't wrap my head around that. Cuddle.
I know.
A
I know.
man in his 40s
Yeah.
cuddling with a child from the time she was 8 years old to the
Right.
time he unalived her.
It's
Cuddle.
not, and not even his daughter. I mean, it kind
No.
of would still be weird if it was his. I mean, it would be somewhat acceptable, I guess. Like fathers and daughters at 8 years old, I guess that's kind of acceptable. Kind of. I don't know. I don't have a daughter, so I don't know. But I think it might be a little bit more acceptable. But it was the boyfriend. That's what makes it even more just
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, I'm not. I. I
Like,
don't.
what would you think? Like, I'll throw it out to the chat. There's a lot of women, females in our chat. Would you cuddle with your father at 8 years old? I know not a boyfriend of your mom for sure. No, but would your father? Would you cuddle with your father?
I remember when I was little and they were watching TV, my mom always had a recliner that she sat in, and my father sat on the couch. And I
Hmm.
would lay on the couch with my head on his lap
Hmm.
until I fell asleep, and then they would put me in my bed.
Hmm.
Um, I that was as far as cuddling went.
Hmm. Right.
So
Yeah. Heck no. Absolutely, totally wrong. No. So you wouldn't cuddle? Nope. 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 Not with your father. You wouldn't cuddle with your father at 8 years old. Yeah. I like I said, I don't know. I don't have a daughter. I don't have a son, so I can't speak to that. Now, I just want to give a quick update. So, the governor is going to hold a news conference at 9 o'clock on all of the local channels. So,
oh dear God.
it was scheduled for 8:45. Now it got kicked to 9. So yeah, we may have an issue here with Stearns. We may not get Stearns, you guys. Just want to throw that out there right now. I'll check the major channels just in case somebody picks it up there. But unfortunately, I think the governor's news conference is going to kick
What's
Stearns.
he talking about, Chris? Do you know?
Pretty sure it's the alligator Alcatraz.
Oh,
Yep,
oh.
I think that's what he's going to be talking about, you guys. So, and we don't get into politics here. It is what it
No,
is.
I don't do politics.
Yep,
Not
it is
on
what it is.
not live or in the
Yeah,
privacy of my own home. When they start on politics, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bed.
yeah. So Aaron's watching all the channels. I've got my eye on 3 local channels. 2 of them have the governor's news conference coming up. So nobody has scheduled Stearns. So this could be a washout. But we have other things to talk about. We have the sheriff. So we'll wait until like 9:05, and then if nothing kicks in, we can talk about the sheriff. Sarah, sending your teenage daughter to cuddle in bed with your 37-something-year-old boyfriend is beyond me. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
And also, Sarah, she
Oh,
had just turned 13
yeah.
the day he unalived her.
It was the 22nd. Her birthday was the 22nd, and it was the 26th that she went missing. So
And then they have the party that Sunday, and she was gone on Monday.
they may have, but her actual birthday was the 22nd. Yeah.
All right,
Which
still
was like, was that a Wednesday or Thursday? So yeah, that's
four
probably why they had the party over the weekend.
4 days. Four
Yeah.
days. It doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference. I wouldn't say that she was a teenager.
No, no. And Green Eyed Cat, cuddling isn't sleeping together. That is true. Christine, they should live stream it. I don't know if we're going to get it today, only because the governor is going to be talking at a news conference. So we're going to hopefully, uh, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, we also have the sheriff to talk about. So we'll let a few minutes go past just to see if it does kick in. And so his press conference
I'm going to get
has.
my phone and I'm going to text Kathy Rustin
Okay.
and I'm going to ask her.
All right. Aaron's watching the other channels too. So yeah. Ask Kathy, see what she says.
Yeah, I'm going to get Kathy Rustin from Longcline. Let me go
Okay.
get my phone. I should have had it at my desk. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, nothing is scheduled for Stearns. The only thing they have scheduled is let me try Aaron's Watch. I'll go over to Law and Crime too. Let's see what they have. They got anything? But at the very least, we can talk about the sheriff. If they don't air it here, if they don't air this live, we can talk about the sheriff. And maybe after the governor's press conference, they might kick in. They might have a crew there that's recording it. They just won't air it live. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Hey, Grizzly, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. We're hoping that the local channels or somebody picks it up.
All right, I just texted Kathy, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, because right now the governor's press conference is taking precedent over Stearns. This is on the local level. On the national level, Jules said you just reached out to Kathy from Law and Crime, so we'll see what comes out of that. So I got my eyes on 3 locals and Law and Crime. I'm not on Court TV, but
no. Grizzly is saying Fox 35 is reporting pretrial at 1:30. No. We cannot have that. We can't because that's like conflicting with Koberger, and we're doing Koberger this afternoon.
All right, hold on. Let me see what's. Where did you get that? Hold on, let me.
Grizzly.
No. I know, but I'm on. I'm on their website. Where, Grizzly? Where did you see that?
Why can't I get this to move?
So on their website, they're talking about the Senate and the bill that was just passed. Go news. Latest news, nothing there. On their YouTube channel. Yeah, it's just the governor. Nothing on channel 2, nothing on Click Orlando. Yep. They may just record it and play it later. They may record it. Let's see.
All right, they have a new thing where they did an ad on. It's on the website.
Yeah, here. Okay, I see it kicking off at 1:30. All right. Now I did see that I saw that earlier. Hold on a sec. Let's play that. I will play that. Hold on a sec, guys. Let me play this. This I can play. All right, so I guess it got moved. Here, let's play this. So it looks like it got moved, you guys, but let's play this. All right, hold on. All right, just give me a moment. And
it seems both parties wanted it moved.
All right, let's check this out, you guys.
Happening today, there is a pretrial hearing in the Stephan Sterns case. He is accused of killing and sexually abusing 13-year-old Maddie Soto.
His first case focuses only on the sexual assault allegations. Let's bring in Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie, who joins us live this morning with an update on this case. And Amanda, good morning to you. We do know this trial has already been delayed several times already.
That's right. So the trial was last supposed to start in May, but the judge pushed it back to July because attorneys on both sides of the case said they would not be ready for trial in time. Now, at the last hearing, the prosecutors and defense went back and forth over what they believe what evidence should be included and excluded at trial. Now, both state prosecutors and the defense team for Stephan Sterns agree that information from his cell phone was gathered without a search warrant. But the state argues detectives were right to take his phone and go through it because they were concerned Sterns was allegedly trying to get rid of evidence. The defense said Sterns only gave consent to look at certain apps and even called on Sterns to testify.
Defendant attempted to destroy evidence already by factory resetting his phone.
What was your understanding, if any, as to what they were going to do with it?
They were just going to check my Google Maps and check to see if I was logged into Google, and that was it. That was all I agreed to.
Were you shown, or did they have a warrant?
They did not.
He stood there and never said no. It's not the onus. The onus is not on Mr. Sterns to say no. The onus is on law enforcement to ask if they can continue.
His defense team is still hoping the judge will consider tossing the evidence from the sex crimes trial. We are still awaiting a decision from the judge. Sterns was the live-in boyfriend of Madeline Soto's mother. Investigators say based on photo and video evidence recovered from his cell phone, which he voluntarily handed over, that his alleged sexual abuse of Maddie Soto had been going on for years. Maddie went missing on February 26th of last year, just days after her 13th birthday. Investigators found the teen's body 4 days later in a wooded area in St. Cloud. Sterns is facing 60 charges for sexual battery, molestation, and possession of child pornography. His sex abuse trial is set to begin in July with a pretrial hearing today at 1:30. We will be sure to let you know what happens. As for his murder trial, that is slated to begin in September. Reporting live from the Osceola County Courthouse, Amanda McKenna.
All right. So we'll reset. So it starts at 1:30. We'll just reset. In the meantime, we can talk about Sheriff Lopez. And I want to say happy birthday to Ruby. Happy birthday to Ruby. Ruby's birthday is today, so happy birthday to her.
Happy
And,
birthday.
Nick, yeah, Nick, good to see you as well. Thanks for popping in and saying hello to Jules. All right. So we'll switch gears and let's talk about Sheriff Lopez, because this may, and I'm just going to say may impact both trials, right? So what do you know about Sheriff Marco Lopez?
Well, okay, this is gonna look. During the time that this event took place, at that time, I think he did a good job. Mm-hmm. With what has transpired lately. Mm-hmm. The man is not squeaky clean. Will it affect this case? I'm not sure that it will, but I don't know.
Yeah. Suba, right now it's 9 in the morning, 9:08, just past 9 o'clock. All right. So high level, Sheriff Marco Lopez apparently had pictures of Madeline's body on his phone, and he posted those onto his Instagram, his personal Instagram page. He took them down after 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He took them down pretty quickly, right? But
I'm sure not quickly enough, Chris, that somebody didn't screenshot it. You know what I mean? Of
course. Yeah. So first of all, that's just a complete breach of all kinds of etiquette, law enforcement, just anything you could possibly think of that's just wrong on all levels, right?
Yeah.
So that was, that's what he did initially, right? So this would have been last year, right? Because it was February 30. I'm sorry, March 1st. She was found of last year, 2024. So that happened. I think he pled guilty or no contest or something. He got like $100 fine, $200 fine, something like that, right? Slap on the wrist, basically, for breaching protocol and all that stuff. But then, like a month or so ago, he was arrested for racketeering. So let's get to that. Let's get to this, and then we can talk about the ramifications of this. All right. So let's check this out.
Non-investigate Shannon Butler has the sources to bring the big story of the arrest of Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez after years of digging and asking the right questions.
Marcos Lopez is in federal custody.
And we were the first to show you the moment he was taken into custody in his sheriff's uniform, an arrest that took him by surprise.
This will mean that a new sheriff will need to be appointed.
And right now at 6, we have a team of reporters to break down the charges, his troubled past, who will take over his department, and what's next in his case. Our live team coverage starts now. Only we were there as it all unfolded here in Orlando early this morning, and we've been breaking new developments ever since. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
I'm Darlene Jones. The sheriff showed up there at a Homeland Security investigation office, only to be handcuffed moments later. There it is, on charges of conspiracy to commit racketeering and a massive multi-million-dollar gambling ring. Here you see on the left his mugshot taken as he was booked into the Lake County Jail, and video there on the right of his arrest. We have a team of reporters across Central Florida tonight to bring you every angle of this major story, from what's happening now to what's next. We start with Channel 9's investigative reporter Shannon Butler live at that federal.
And Jules, if you want me to pause at any point, just give a high sign, because I'm the one that's I'm on the control there. So if you see anything you want to stop and talk about, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Building in Orlando. And Shannon, you were the first to break details here on air and online, and a lot has happened since just before 10 when you arrived there this morning.
Yeah, we're here where Marcos Lopez's Denali is still sitting here behind me. It took just minutes from him to go inside this building to the Lake County Jail. We know that because we were here when it all happened. HSI investigators tonight making it clear that no one is above the law. Marcos Lopez walked into this federal building this morning, but just minutes later, stripped of his gun and his badge, put in handcuffs and read his rights, asking agents what this was all about. What it was about was a months-long investigation for racketeering. Today, he was arrested and booked in the Lake County Jail. According to HSI, the investigation started in 2023. The allegations that Marcos Lopez was involved in a massive gambling operation, one that was up and running here in Central Florida, not only in Osceola County, but also in Lake County. It's also one that brought in more than $20 million. Investigators saying it all started after Lopez took office in 2020. The gambling operations were allowed to set up illegally and run in his county, all in exchange for cash. Investigators writing, quote, Sheriff Lopez played a multifaceted role in expanding and protecting this illegal enterprise while using his office to shield the enterprise from law enforcement. He was immediately suspended by the governor, as others were also arrested. But this could be just the beginning. Investigators telling us more warrants are being served and more arrests could be coming. Now, we were told that Marcos Lopez did not make a statement inside, which we could figure that out just as quickly as this happened. Like 3 or 4 minutes, he walked inside and was taken quickly by car to the Lake County Jail. We are told, though, there are more, quote, targets in this investigation. It's not clear if they are witnesses or they will be arrested, but it is clear this investigation is long from over. In Orange County, Shannon Butler, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And Shannon, you were able to break this story after years of investigating this sheriff and his office.
Yeah, we first got a tip on this story probably about 6 months ago. We have tried since then to kind of work this situation to try to figure out just how many people were involved. As you know, the sheriff has had controversies before at that department. So we were trying to weed through exactly what may or may not have happened here. But today, those rumors came to be true as the sheriff was arrested here in Lake County, again, under investigation now for racketeering charges. Martha.
A major story in our community. And of course, you're leading the way. Excellent reporting. Thank you. Darlene?
Martha, now the suspended sheriff is not the only one implicated in this case. As you heard Shannon mention, there are 4 other alleged accomplices here. Channel 9's Ashlyn Webb is learning more about the people identified by the Attorney General's office.
On the club's TikTok, you can see a Clip Social Club repeatedly promoting gambling. The social media page calls the establishment a casino with a lot fish tables and computer games with daily promotions. You can see the wall of the building lined with at least 20 video slots and other gaming machines. But according to the court documents, this is where the five, including Sheriff Marcos Lopez, was involved in racketeering, an illegal gambling operation. According to the state business record, Sheldon Witherholt was the manager of this social club. Ying Zhang, who also goes by Kate, is listed. Witherholt, Zhang, and Marcos Lopez are accused of keeping the gambling house, unlawfully having slot machines, and setting up or promoting a lottery. State prosecutors say Sheriff Lopez and Ying Zhang were also involved with money laundering, so disguising the money collected from this illegal gambling operation. Two other women are listed in court documents as employees or agents of this operation, including Sharon Frederick and Carol Coate. Ashlyn Webb, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We received this statement from State Attorney General James Othmeyer saying this is a solemn day for Florida and our law enforcement community. We put great trust in our constitutional officers, especially those who are our community's first line of defense. However, the law must be applied equally, regardless of position, power, or branch of government. Right now, the former sheriff is locked up at the Lake County Jail and will appear in court later this month. This isn't the first time he's made headlines. He's been involved in several scandals. Channel 9's Sabrina Majore live at the Lake County Jail right now. And Sabrina, he is not the ordinary inmate there.
Yeah, Martha, because of his status, the Lake County Sheriff's Office says he's likely being held in a part of the jail away from other inmates. But like every other inmate today, he was fingerprinted and photographed. Information about his arrest also transferred online as part of that booking process.
No one is above the law.
Osceola County's top law enforcement officer could now face up to 30 years in prison. The now former sheriff will enter his plea for racketeering and conspiracy to commit charges during an arraignment on June 30th.
No matter if you are the lowliest criminal or a high-profile sheriff, everybody receives the same due process in the criminal justice system.
Marcos Lopez first joined the Osceola County Sheriff's Office in 2003 while still serving in the Navy Reserve, and went on to work various law enforcement roles, including patrol and criminal investigations, before he was elected sheriff.
So help me God. Congratulations.
He made history at the swearing-in ceremony back in 2021. Becoming the first Hispanic sheriff in the state of Florida. But his tenure wasn't without controversy. Lopez claimed to have accidentally posted a photo of 13-year-old Maddie Soto's body to his personal Instagram page less than 24 hours after the missing teen was found dead in the woods. Following FDLE's review of the incident, Lopez was added to the Brady list.
I have never seen where the top law enforcement professional was on that.
So they're talking about a lot of things there. So there's him. Photos of Maddie's body were on his phone. He posted them to Instagram less than 24 hours after she was discovered. And then he's put on this Brady list. Now, basically, the Brady list is it's a list of law enforcement officers who have documented incidences of lying, fabricating evidence, tampering with evidence, racial bias or misconduct, criminal convictions, or violations of departmental policy related to truthfulness or integrity. Right now, Marco is on there. Do you know about the Brady list, Jules? Are you familiar with this?
I didn't go over it, no.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of it before? I had never heard of this before.
Yeah.
You had heard of this? Okay. Yeah, this was a new one on me.
Yeah.
So he's
anything with regards to that.
All right. So he's on it because criminal charges for dishonesty or corruption because of his racketeering, conspiracy to commit racketeering, fraudulent financial conduct. Let's see. Willful dishonesty, abuse of power. So he's basically shielding this nightclub from being in trouble. I mean, it's as simple as that. Public misuse of official authority. Again, he used his position as the sheriff of Osceola County to shield the gambling ring. So he definitely, if this is all true, this is all alleged, but if this is true, then he's definitely, he's in hot water. Now, how do you think this will affect Maddie's trial?
I'm not really sure. I think the investigation into her going missing and later being found, and then the interrogation of Stearns and what they found on his phone, I think it was above board. Now, will his defense?
Oh, you paused yourself, Jules. Wait, you still I'm sorry, you muted yourself. There you go.
Am I back?
You're back.
All right.
Just blame it on Frankie. Frankie did it.
No, I have him locked out of the room so he doesn't bother us. He's whining on the other side of that door. I don't think, I mean, his defense counsel will probably bring that up in today's hearing. I don't think it's going to do anything. I think they don't need him.
No.
He led the investigation. He didn't do the actual legwork in the investigation. Right. So I don't think it's going to play much. I don't.
I would only say that just based on, Karen Reed and every trial we see, defense always goes after the law enforcement and their conduct, chain of custody. Did you do this right? Did you do that right? So that's where I see it coming into play. I agree with you. I don't think because he wasn't the lead investigator, he wasn't there, boots on the ground, all that stuff. But I can see the defense saying, hey, the chief, the sheriff, not the chief of police, but the sheriff, the top guy, top dog is doing this. How does that roll out to the rest of the department? Is there integrity? How can we be so sure? And then you got the whole cell phone, how that was, they just were after Stearns' cell phone for the GPS and his traveling. And then they're still fighting over that. I don't think has the judge made a decision on that? If that's allowed in even?
I'm not. Didn't he make? Yeah, I think he made the decision after that last hearing that it was allowed. There's not much that can be done. What they would have to do is try to make a connection between the law enforcement officers that actually did the investigation and him and them being involved in this racketeering job. And nothing has come out in regards to any of law enforcement that's been involved with him for this particular crime. Right. So, until another arrest is made, where it's another officer and he was directly involved with the sheriff for the racketeering and the gambling and all of that, they've got nothing. And I don't think it's going to amount to much.
Yeah. So those were three really good comments I pulled up. I'll pull them up again. So Brad says, Karen, the worst offender touched all the evidence and misconduct was found in that case. This seems different to me. To which I agree. And Grizzly as well. The defense can just highlight police issues during the trial and that could stack up. And that's a very good point. And then Ed followed that up with, I find it hard to believe no other officers knew about it. And I agree with all three of those are really great comments, you guys. And that's how I think it may come into play. How will it affect the jury? Then there's that, but I think it will be brought up or maybe the defense is going to bring it up today and say, hey, is this off limits? Can we talk about this? That may be sorted out today.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, but I don't think so. I mean, the judge may allow them to bring it up, but they better come with, facts behind their accusation.
Yeah. Sarah says the defense is defending the indefensible. Yeah, everybody deserves a defense, I suppose, right?
That's right.
And they'll use any tactics to possible to stall or get their client off on technicalities. Their ridiculous 80 motions to suppress have little standing. Yeah, as much as you hate them, everybody deserves a right.
And let's not forget that everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
That is
So
true.
we may feel one way.
Yep.
But until we know all the facts, he's innocent until a jury says otherwise.
I know. Even if you're found holding,
I know you hate that, Chris, but it's true.
I don't hate it. No, I don't hate it. I was going to say, even if you're found holding a head with a machete like this, you're still innocent until proven guilty, because that's just the way it is. That's the way it's set up, and we have to abide by that, even though we disagree with it. So,
can you pull up Grizzly's comment, please?
Which one?
I think the evidence against Stern is overwhelming. That one. Do you see it?
Let me see if how far back was it?
I'm seeing it on my screen now.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Aaron. Okay. Grizzly says, I think the evidence against Stearns is overwhelming. He should take inspiration from Koberger immediately. Yep. Not that he has been offered a plea deal yet. He could just plead guilty. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with Grizzly on this. With Stearns, I have absolutely no idea why this man has not pled guilty. I mean, he doesn't realize that if he's found guilty in this trial, and I think he will, I think the odds are in his favor of being found guilty. Then when we go to the next phase in September, then the state's attorney's office is going to ask for the death penalty. So this man, if his public defender is worth their salt, they would sit him down and talk to him and say, you're in a no-win situation here. And quite frankly, you will probably be sentenced to death. Okay.
Yeah.
Make a deal.
Yeah.
Take life without parole.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be, as we all know, people that do what he did in jail do not last long.
No, they don't. But here's the thing, Chris. He no matter what, he's doomed.
Yeah.
No matter what, he is doomed.
Agreed.
And he really should and this is probably why the state didn't offer him a plea deal, because they know they have him dead to rights. The evidence that they have, just the phone evidence alone, is so damning that there is no way that he's going to be found not guilty or even a hung jury. And here's the thing. Fast forward to September, and now he's being tried for her murder. Okay.
Right.
He gets found guilty, and and that's the thing. Okay. Then they go to the penalty phase after, if he is found guilty. I want to say that correctly. If he's found guilty of her murder, then they go to the penalty phase. And that's where Mr. J is going to bring up his past crimes, which is what's going to be happening on the 15th. Okay. That's why they broke us up into two separate trials. Had they combined it into one trial, they wouldn't be able to ask for the death penalty, because he doesn't have any prior bad acts.
Right.
So Mr. J separated it and said, okay, let's do the essay first, find him guilty. Then in the murder trial in September, it's going to be, okay, he was found guilty. These are his prior bad acts. And they're going to bring up what happens, in July.
Right. Right.
So then, he's, the thing is, here in Florida, DeSantis changed the death penalty ruling.
Yep.
And I'm not so sure on board with this, but he did it like, I think it was 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm finding
where,
it.
Yeah, where they no longer need to be unanimous. When he changed it right after the Parkland High.
Shooting, it was 20.
Yeah,
I got
verdict,
23. He changed it.
They couldn't
Yeah.
come to a decision, and so they voted no. They weren't going to give him the death penalty. They were going to give him life without parole. So DeSantis was totally pissed off about that, and it was after that he changed it, and so now you don't need 12 people to vote yes on the DP. You only need at least 8. If 8 jurors say DP and the other 4 say no, he's still going to get the death penalty.
Yeah. Yep. That is absolutely correct. Yep.
Baca says that he's been trying to get the DP taken off the table, but that's not happening.
Right. This is an interesting comment too by Brad. Stearns said about the DP, you go to sleep and then you go to heaven. If he truly doesn't fear it, he has no incentive to deal. If it's bravado and the pictures come in, he might deal. Look at Kohlberger, right? He was.
I'm pretty annoyed with what happened with Kohlberger, but we're going to talk about that this afternoon.
Yeah. So thank you. My cat's name is Karen. Yeah. 2023 legislation passed it, going down to 8 from 12 to 8. Yeah. I was talking yesterday, when we were covering Raoul Valley, out of Connecticut, and like a lot of trials we cover, you have clear-cut villains, and Sarah Boone, Jodi Arias, just to name a few off the top of my head, but Stephan Sterns, even though they are innocent, they are innocent until proven guilty. I get it. So do you feel that this is a clear-cut villain? Do you have a clear-cut villain with Sterns?
Okay. I have 2 answers. The legality side is I have to go into this trial and giving him the presumption of innocence. Okay.
Sure.
On my personal opinion is that man is guilty.
Yeah.
But, covering it, I have to go into the trial and hear both sides, and then making a decision. And I think that Mr. J is going to put, just like he did with Sarah Boone, he's going to be very methodical with how he puts on his evidence. So I think by the time the state rests, I think everybody will probably be on board about his guilt. And then we'll see about what does the defense put on. That's the thing. I have a feeling, and I don't know that this is true. I'm just going with my gut. It would not surprise me if the defense tries to put this on Jennifer.
Sure. They're going to try anything and everything they can to get the focus off of Stephan, for sure.
Right. And especially if she doesn't testify, I think that they may go down that road and say that she did it. And yes, he disposed of her body to cover up for her, but he didn't commit the act. I could see them going down that road, but you still can't get away from those egregious photos that were on his phone. You can't, because how would he have gotten them if Jennifer was the culprit?
Right.
You
well, in his phone calls, he was telling his parents that he just discovered Maddie. She was already blue, or she was not alive at the time he discovered her. So, he's kind of saying maybe she overdosed, or maybe So he's already saying that it wasn't him. So already there, I can see that that would be their defense of like, I discovered her, and I don't know who did it, but who else was in? There's the two roommates. Did they have any? What was their motive?
Here's the thing: if they're going to go down that road, you know what that means?
What?
He has to get on the stand and testify.
Yep. Yeah, and
And do you see him testifying?
No. I would love to see him testify because I want to see Mr. J rip him, but that's just me.
Yeah. I'm like so bummed that I can't be in the courtroom. You know how much I was looking forward to being in the courtroom for this. Hopefully my legs will cooperate in September and allow me to go.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's still, let's see, it's August, September, 3 full months. It's the 22nd. So you have 3 full months.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Mary's got
that one.
Mary says, do you think there is a mystery going to be around Jen?
No. I think the defense is going to try and blame her, but no. If she testifies in this trial, and I'm thinking, I don't know this for sure, but I'm thinking, Lady Justice, I think that they have given her partial immunity and that she does have to testify. So if that's the case, I don't think she's going to come off very well on the stand. No matter how Mr. J or co-counsel, I don't know if it's the same co-counsel as in the Sarah Boone trial, but in any case,
it's a female. It's a female attorney. Melissa? No. I'm sorry. Danielle Pinnell. Danielle Marie Pinnell.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I would say I think it would be a good guess to say if they gave her partial immunity and she went to testify against him, that it would be the female co-counsel then that would question her to try and soften her, because she's probably the second hated person in the USA. I mean, Casey Anthony will always take the number 1 spot. I think she's in a close second because what mother does that?
Yeah. Just how could you? Yeah. I just want to remind everybody just to be respectful of each other, be kind and courteous. We have a really nice, welcoming community here. We build each other up through our opinions. We don't tear each other down just because you disagree with somebody. So just be mindful of that. And I appreciate it. Our mods are doing a great job. So just continue to be respectful. If you guys have a difference of opinions, there's no need to fight. If you need to fight, just step away, because we're not going to tolerate that. So I just want to remind you guys, if anybody new is joining, that's our policy. If you've been with us for a long time, you know the deal. So just appreciate that, you guys.
And we welcome differences of opinion here. So if you've got something to say and you want it highlighted, go ahead and say it, because it is what it is.
Sure.
There are a lot, just like there's, I cannot believe this, but Koberger has his groupie page on Facebook, that, oh, he's innocent, he was railroaded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We don't see that in this case.
No. Yeah.
And again, I really believe that this case is coming down to what they found on his phone.
Right. Agreed. I agree. All right. Jennifer says, Jen encouraged Maddie to sleep in bed with Stephan. She knew full well what was happening and likely justified it because Maddie was drugged and didn't know what was going on.
I can get on board with that, Jennifer.
She admits it. I mean, Jen admits it. She's like, yeah, I needed to go to sleep, so I would send her upstairs and they would cuddle. I mean, that's her words. That's not us speculating. That's her words. Steph is asking, Jules, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't, and I don't want one. I prefer being a co-host. Thank you very much. I don't need the headaches.
Kelly saying it's good to see you, Jules.
Same here, Kelly. Thank you.
Jules is on Twitter, X, so you can follow her there. Jojo says, do you think Jen was groomed to the point that she just did not realize what she was doing was wrong?
No, I don't. No, I don't. And the reason why I don't is during her when they were interviewing her, she made the statement about, I told him this better not be a Woody Allen thing, da 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 da.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Grizzly, for saying that. Corralling anybody. No, I mean, just be cool. I mean, we're all on the same boat. If you have a difference of opinion, that's fine. But
why
just
a state of confusion? Does she think that, or he, she, I don't know what the gender, but why do they think that they were being attacked and they left? Oh, that upsets me.
I don't know.
Don't ever leave.
And thank you, DSN, for that. Appreciate your donation. Joanne Jedi Platypus. I believe that Jen is not the full quid, saying that it's no excuse for her actions or lack of action to protect her child.
Yeah.
This is an interesting point. My cat's name is Karen. Sterns triangulated Maddie and Jen. They were in competition for him in his head. That's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
Or was he forcing them to compete for his affections?
Well, what do you call it? I know, I can't remember which one of them said it, but they said that I have to watch how I say this. For a long time, she didn't want to, do the thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously their behind closed doors relationship wasn't all that. Mm-hmm. But is that a reason to put and especially if you're self-aware that you're not doing, what a partner should be doing, why do you send your daughter up there?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just have a hard time with it. And his mother, did you go and watch the interviews that the parents did with that husband wife YouTuber thing? I told Aaron about it.
Oh,
remember
no.
these.
No, I did
Well,
not watch. I saw the thumbnail. I did not watch it. Like when I was doing research and stuff, I saw the thumbnail. I did not actually watch it because just, yeah, haven't gotten around to that yet.
I watched it, and the mother is the one that made what does that say, Chris, please?
Friendly reminder: there is no L in Coburger. I think I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty. Coleslaw, yes. Coburger, no. Snarky pants are ironed and ready for the day.
That's a good one. I like it. In that interview that the parents did with those YouTubers, the mother came off as, let's say it this way, the father came off as being extremely aware that, yes, he believed his son did this. I mean, he didn't come out completely to say it, but he was more going in that direction. The mother, however, was like, no, and she was blaming everything on Jennifer. And she came out in that interview, and stated, and again, I don't know this to be true, but so a little FYI, I'm just, don't kill the messenger here. I'm just telling you what the mom had said. And there really was no proof, but she said that there was a time when the both of them lived with the parents in Northport. Yes. Why do all the crazy people come from where I used to live?
What's in the water down there?
It must be. And that neither one of them had a job. Maddie was really little, but yet they had all this money coming in, and they couldn't account for why all this money was coming in, that the mother, questioned it. And, she was like, she's lazy. She doesn't want to work. And then, and that's how she found out that Stephan was sleeping with Maddie, because she said Maddie told her. So, and of course she blames Jennifer up and down, and she stuck to that Stephan will take the hit in order not for Jennifer to go to jail. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and thank God they're well adjusted. I don't think that I would I don't think I would go that far. I really don't. I mean, and it was at that point she said that she told them that they had to get out.
Right. Through the phone conversations between Stephan and his parents, you could definitely tell Dad is like sus. He's like, well, why did you do this on that night? Why did you drive over here? Why did you, we were at the hotel together. Why did you leave at 2:00 in the morning? What? And it was the mom that was saying that she was definitely more coddling. She was definitely more, forgiving of him. It wasn't your fault. What's wrong with Jennifer? And Dad was definitely much more, son, what the hell did you do kind of attitude. That's what I got from their conversations. So you're saying the same. And I think most of our chat that watched that sort of felt the same way.
Yeah.
So, all right. I want to, let's see. Let's watch. This is his first. Okay, so let's get back to the sheriff, right? So this is the sheriff's first appearance. Let's watch this.
My name is Emily Currington. I'm a county judge who is here to do your first appearance hearing. There are 3 issues that I am here to decide. First, I will advise you of the charge or charges against you. You were here on a warrant that was issued by a judge who's already found probable cause to believe that an offense was committed and that you committed it. But I will advise you of those charges. I will then consider the issue of bond. In determining whether to set a monetary bond, how much, and any conditions of bond, I will consider a number of factors, including the nature of the offense charged, the potential penalty, whether you were on probation or out on bond for another offense at the time the new offense was allegedly committed, your ties to the community, your prior criminal record, your financial status, your employment history, any record of failing to appear at prior court proceedings, and the nature and probability that you might present a danger to the community. The third issue I will address with you is the matter of counsel. Your attorney, who has announced her name and presence for the record, is sitting to my left. She's not able to get into the jail, in the secure part of the jail where you are, so she came to my office and she is here for that purpose. This proceeding today is being recorded. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say could be used against you in later proceedings. You have the right to communicate with your lawyer, with your family, and your friends. Reasonable means will be giving you the opportunity to do that. Can you raise your right hand so I can place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Thank you. Could you tell me your name, please?
Marcos R. Lopez.
Mr. Lopez, you were here this morning in Lake County case number 2025 CF 1479. It's a warrant that was issued for you for 1 count of racketeering and 1 count of conspiracy to commit racketeering. Attorney for statewide, I believe, is here. Would you like to be heard as to the setting of bond and any bond conditions? I know you filed a motion about the source of funds today, so if you would include that in your remarks, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor. Panayota Papakos for the Office of Statewide Prosecution. As far as conditions, the state would be seeking an electronic GPS monitor as a condition of any release. We would ask that the court order the defendant to turn over his passport to the clerk of court. We would ask that he forfeit any and all firearms in his possession. And further, Your Honor, at this time, the defendant is charged with 2 first-degree felonies. So the state would be seeking a $600,000 bond as to each count for a total of $1.2 million. And I will go into essentially the criteria that the court has previously announced. First, the nature and the circumstances of the offense is charged justify this amount of a bond in this case. The state has filed an affidavit. I believe that the clerk filed it in separate sections because it is 255 pages. And so I provided it to Your Honor's judicial assistant this morning. And just some highlights that the allegations in that affidavit, the detail an extreme breach of public trust, the circumstances surrounding his misuse of office as the sheriff of Osceola County are very serious. Again, there's direct evidence in that affidavit of ongoing illegal enterprise. The weight of the evidence includes that the defendant obtained between, at the very least, $600,000 to $700,000 since 2020 from this illegal enterprise in cash payments. There is evidence in the affidavit of a wire transfer to a bank account he controlled through a fictitious business name. There's direct text message evidence from both WhatsApp and cell phone applications of his involvement in this enterprise dating back to 2019. Beginning on page 110 through page 148 of the affidavit, there are numerous text messages from the defendant directly to co-conspirators. The first co-conspirator being Ms. Zhang, also goes by Kate. Those direct text messages evidence that he was using his influence as the sheriff even prior to election, indicating he was very respected in his community to facilitate the illegal enterprise. There's screenshots of slot machines and things of that nature in those text messages. Of note, I would direct the court to page 175, where the defendant was actively sourcing new locations for illegal businesses to come in from Lake County to Osceola County. That began in 2021. And then further on, beginning on page 229, there are text messages between the defendant and co-conspirator Krishna Dio Karen. Your Honor can see some of the affidavit is redacted, but there are photos of active law enforcement officers that have responded to those locations. I'm sorry, there's some audio interference. There are photos evidencing the defendant's direct involvement and also using his influence to potentially obstruct criminal investigation into these businesses in Osceola County. So that would be the first two factors: the nature and circumstances, and then the weight of the evidence. Again, evidenced in that detailed affidavit that was completed both by HSI task officers and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So there was two co-affiants in that case, with the understanding that this is a joint investigation. The defendant does not have any ties to Lake County that we are aware of. He has been suspended from office by the executive order of the governor. And moving on to subsection F, the source of funds, the state has filed a motion this morning, and I've provided it to the judicial assistant in its entirety. But essentially, this is a motion where we would be asking the court to inquire into the source of any funds that the defendant would use to post bail, or that you'd be using for collateral. Essentially, asking the court that prior to posting that the defendant show that these are not funds derived from any illegal enterprise or any illegal proceeds. And I would rely on the written motion, essentially, that the statute allows the court to conduct that inquiry. And so we would ask that any release be stayed until the defendant meets his burden of showing that those funds are from non-criminal sources.
Anything else?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Abraham.
Your Honor, $600,000 is a very high bond for the nature of this crime. Mr. Lopez has no criminal history. He has extreme ties to the community in Osceola County, which is still within the state of Florida and not very far from Lake County. He does have a family. He was publicly elected for 2 different terms as a sheriff's office. He does have funds from working at the sheriff's office. This is a white-collar crime, a non-dangerous crime. There is no indication that Mr. Lopez would be a flight risk in any way, or that he would not attend any of his court hearings. He has employment history. He does have financial resources. He has family and friends that are supportive to him as well. We would ask that this bond be set in the amount of $25,000 in each count. As state indicated, he no longer has his position at this time, so a $600,000 bond for each count would be tantamount to no bond at this point. When speaking with his family, there was indication that $25,000 on each count would be affordable to the family. Although Mr. Lopez has a title, we would ask the court to still look at Mr. Lopez as a regular individual, and not just because he has a sheriff's title that he should be treated any differently. This is a racketeering charge. These are first-degree felonies. We'd be asking that his bond be set in a reasonable amount that would be affordable to his family, and that each count would be set in the amount of $25,000. In terms of conditions, there is no indication that Mr. Lopez would be a flight risk in any way. Mr. Lopez would agree to turn in his passport. In terms of having a GPS, if Your Honor would like for him to have a curfew, I believe Mr. Lopez would comply with that. I don't see the need for a GPS. This is not a violent crime. He is not a danger to society. This is a white-collar money crime at this point. GPS monitor, defense would argue, is not necessary at this time. He would comply with the conditions of no contact with any co-defendants in the case and surrendering his passports. Again, with the firearm condition, this is a non-violent crime. He's not a danger in any way. He doesn't pose a danger to the community. So we'd just be asking Your Honor to set conditions and a bond in a reasonable amount. Thank you.
Anything else?
Your Honor, briefly, we have HSI Task Force Officer Frank Tagler, as well as FDLE Inspector James Frank was on the line. There, in the course of this investigation, they determined that the defendant has traveled to Puerto Rico and there are ties to Puerto Rico. So that was the reasoning behind asking for, first of all, with the understanding that it's still the United States, we were asking for a monitor.
Anything else?
And then no contact with the co-defendants. I don't believe that I said that.
You didn't, but Ms. Ibrahim mentioned it and I had it in my notes to impose that as a condition. Anything else, Ms. Ibrahim?
Just because he has ties to Puerto Rico or that he's been to Puerto Rico still does not indicate that he would be a flight risk or not attend any of his court hearings that are required of him. So we would be arguing against the GPS monitor as a condition. In terms, and Your Honor, my apologies, in terms of the money income, he has been working at the sheriff's office, so he does have legitimate funds to be able to use to bond himself out.
All right. I am going to set bond in the amount of $500,000 on each of the 2 counts for a total of $1 million. I will require Mr. Lopez be fitted with a GPS monitor prior to his release from custody should he post the bond that I just set within 72 hours of release from custody. You'll be required to surrender your passport to the clerk's office for safekeeping, Mr. Lopez. You will be required to surrender any firearms in your possession to law enforcement. Which agency, Ms. Papakos, do you think would be most appropriate? Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I assumed, to FDLE, and I will put that in my order that within 72 hours of any release from custody, all firearms in Mr. Lopez's your possession will have to be surrendered to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. You may not have any contact whatsoever with any named co-defendant in the case, and I will make sure their names are in the order. Your next court date for right now is June the 30th, so I'm sure your attorney will be in touch with you. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Is that
All
the
right.
bond?
I'm sorry, somebody asked a question, I think. I'm not sure who.
How do I start the bond process?
So your attorney is likely to come talk to you in just a few minutes. She's probably going to come across the street, Mr. Lopez, and do that. If that doesn't happen, they're going to let you reach out to your family and to your friends. Also near the phones over there is a list of bail bonding agencies. You might want to try that as well. But I think your attorney is likely going to leave my office here shortly and come talk to you. So you can chat with her whenever she comes over in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
And Your Honor, if I may,
Certainly.
the NIMBY hearing is not necessary.
I am going to grant the state's motion as far as the source of funds goes pursuant to Florida statute 903.0462F. So the source of the funds will need to be shown to the state. If that's not satisfactory, you all will need to have a hearing in order for Judge Welke, who this case has been assigned to determine if the source of the funds has been appropriately shown. If the state agrees, you all can file a stipulation to that.
Your Honor, may
Yes,
I
Your Honor.
request that a hearing be set on Monday?
I would not have the jurisdiction in order to do that, and I do not have access to Judge Welke's calendar. You all are more than welcome to reach out to see if he can set a hearing today. I think that would be the best thing under the circumstances. I don't know what his schedule looks like, but I'm sure he'll get you hearing time as soon as he can.
Thank you, Judge.
Certainly.
That is all I have.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor, I believe that there is one more co-defendant that was taken into custody, but I don't have information as to whether she's on the docket for this morning's first
I
appearances.
actually have 2 co-defendants, female, on the docket who were taken into custody in this case, Ms. Frederick, and I'm not sure how I say the last name of the other person, Cote, I believe is her name, Carol?
Yes, Ms. Cote, yes.
They are both in custody, and I will see them after I finish. I normally see all of the males, or as many of them as I can, who are grouped together, and then we move the computer so that I can see the female. So it's going to be a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I'll remain on the meeting.
Both of them here in a few minutes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Honestly, I don't think any of that is going to affect the SA trial or the murder trial. I just don't.
You just don't. Yeah. All right. So he did post. He actually was let go. So let me play that because this is insane. This is really fun. I only say fun because it's like the sharks that the media can be.
County Jail. And this is in Tavares, where we are expecting suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez to bond out and be released at any moment now. Yeah, the court has said that the suspended sheriff has posted bail money, so he should be walking out of jail any moment. Since that bond was posted, it was set at $1 million, so his bail amount would be $100,000. We do know he's been in jail for 3 weeks now, and this is what we've been waiting for. We were told that once you post bond, it takes a few minutes to do all the paperwork, but it appears with everyone hanging out outside, Marlisa, that this is imminent. Oh yeah, there's definitely a lot of activity happening right outside of that door, where we can expect him to walk out at any minute. And just to catch viewers up, this is suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez we're talking about. He was arrested for his alleged involvement in an illegal gambling business, and we have several crews there on the scene that are waiting for him to walk out, where then we can expect them to try to ask questions to get any answers from him, because we have not heard from him, a single thing from him, in 3 weeks now, Luann? Yeah, the first time we saw him in court was when he was arrested, and he hasn't been back in court ever since. But as you were saying, Marlisa, this started 3 weeks ago when the Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez was taken into custody. He was brought to Lake County, since that is apparently where one of those illegal gambling operations was held. We do know that 3 other people have been arrested in connection with this as well, including Lopez's estranged wife, Robin. There's also another person who they're still looking for at this moment, who they haven't been able to locate. But you just saw Kelsey Cairns there. She is one of 2 of the crews we have out there waiting for the sheriff to walk out of the Lake County Jail so they can ask him questions. What's his reaction? What does he have to say about all of this? Yeah. So there he is.
Lopez, do you agree with the accusations? Sheriff Lopez, do you agree with the charges? Sheriff Lopez, do you agree with the accusations? Sheriff Lopez, how does it feel to be on the other side of the perp walk? How does it feel, Sheriff? What is your message, Sheriff?
Thank the voters.
I love that. What is your message? That is like, I talked to Joe about this, Joe Schmo, when he was at Lori's trial, and he's like, I'm like, Joe, I sent this to him when this happened, right after it happened, and I sent it to him. I'm like, this is what you do not want to become. He's like, oh my God, no. Jules, if you want to pop in a comment, but I've got another one where this one is just as good. I think this is from another angle. I mean,
Haley Crumpleholm continues our team coverage live from the Lake County Jail.
Yeah, Haley, after fulfilling his obligations, Lopez was able to get out.
Hold on, watch this.
After 3 weeks behind bars, suspended Sheriff Marcos Lopez took his first steps outside of the Lake County Jail Thursday. His attorneys were outside, and he didn't have many steps to take. Just a few feet from the door to the silver truck waiting for him. But a crowd of cameras and reporters were waiting too. It was fast and frantic. You can see how quickly the crowd moved in this video overhead from Chopper 2. A man with Lopez's attorneys rushed to get him through the crowd. People shouted questions about the charges against him. What do you have to say to the people of Osceola County? But the suspended sheriff didn't say a word. Lopez seemed eager to get out of jail in his first appearance in court 3 weeks ago, asking only one question.
How do I start the bond process?
Weeks later, that process was done, and things moved fast Thursday night. A silver truck pulled up outside of the doors where those who have bonded out get released around 6:29. By 6:32, Lopez came out, wearing a black t-shirt and what looked like the green pants from his uniform. We know he was in uniform when he was first put in handcuffs on June 5th. It only took about 10 seconds for Lopez to step out of the jail
Get away from the truck!
and get into the truck. Now that Marcos Lopez has bonded out, we are still waiting to see when his estranged wife, Robin Lopez, will get out of this jail. But she was ordered in her first appearance not to have any contact with the suspended sheriff. Live in Lake County, Haley Crumpleholm, West 2 News.
All right, Haley. Now, Lopez is one of 5 people arrested so far as part of the investigation into the alleged illegal gambling operation. Carol Cody was arrested the same day as Lopez. Sharon Fedrick was arrested days later. Sheldon Weatherholt turned himself in less than a week later. The investigation all centers on the Eclipse Social Club in Kissimmee. FDLE says Lopez used his power as a sheriff to help protect it from law enforcement. Even so, records show Osceola County deputies were called there 50 times in the past 3 years. The organization allegedly generated nearly $22 million in illicit proceeds.
And investigators are still searching for one more person, Ying Zhang, who goes by Katie. She is believed to be out of the country. Meanwhile, Lopez's estranged wife, Robin, was arrested earlier this week. She is charged with reinvesting money made in the alleged gambling scheme, and she remains in jail tonight on a $400,000 bond. And investigators say that this illegal gambling operation all started back in 2019 while Lopez was a deputy. He was elected to sheriff in 2020, and investigators say he continued to collect some of the money from the operation. The federal and state investigations began in 2023. And then last August, state and federal agents served a warrant at the club. The raid was based on allegations that illegal gambling equipment was inside. This case went public 3 weeks ago today with the arrest of Lopez. He was booked into the Lake County jail to avoid any influence or connections that he might have in Osceola County.
West 2 was the first to break the news when Lopez met the requirements to post bond on air and online. We were the first to send this push alert when he walked out of jail. To get breaking news on the go, be sure to download our free West 2 app and turn on alerts.
There you have it. I was muted. So you don't think it's going to really have any effect other than defense saying, hey, the sheriff is corrupt. How do we know the investigation wasn't corrupt?
Here's the thing. We're talking about gambling. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, illegal gambling in the state of Florida is just that. It's illegal. We have laws in place in the state on where you can gamble and where you can't. So, yes, what he's done is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Should he be punished for that crime? Yes, he should. But is this like, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out with these charges? No, no,
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. And again, I'm gonna stand by what I said earlier. I don't think this is gonna affect Stephan Sterns' case at all.
Yeah. I hope not. Oh, hey, Ed, you live in Winter Garden and work walking distance from Orange County. Is this in Orange County or is this going to be in Osceola?
It's in Osceola.
Yeah.
No,
So Ed,
he was asking where I lived,
uh-huh.
Chris, and I said, "Why are you going to ask me out on a date?"
All right, no fraternizing, chat. No fraternizing.
Winter Garden. That's about what, an hour and a half, 2 hours from me.
I mean, that's like
Isn't it closer to you, Chris?
No. It's south of Orlando. When I was driving around, I accidentally went past Orlando, and Winter Garden is Ed, right? It's a little bit south of Orlando. It's closer to Osceola, actually. But if you work at Orange County, you work. Obviously we know where you work, or we know the courthouse. But Osceola is like maybe half hour south of downtown, depending on traffic. So Claremont-ish. All right. I'm not 100% where Claremont is, but well, Ed, if you can go to Stearns and you can be our boots on the ground along with Jules has a contact or two. If you can make it. Winter Garden is northwest of Orlando. Okay. I thought it was south. Okay. Hold on. Not that I don't believe you, but as Aaron says, I have to look it up for myself. Sorry, Mr. Pancake. Let me see here.
He's
okay.
near Claremont. He's saying he's closer to Claremont.
All right. So Winter Garden is definitely, yep. You are correct. Northwest. You are correct. I was getting that confused with Kissimmee. I'm sorry. No, Celebration. That's what it was. It was Celebration. I was driving around and I got lost and I ended up in Celebration. So that's what I was thinking. Winter Garden, Celebration, same difference, right? When you're not from the area, but I know all these names because I've lived in Florida for like 20 some odd years now. Anyway, so Ed, if you can get yourself to Osceola, and that's south. Osceola is definitely south. Let's see. And Kissimmee, yeah, I mean it's like what, a half hour from Orlando.
And what am I?
Oh, there's Claremont. I see Claremont.
I think I'm an hour and a half from Orlando. Is that right? Am I an hour and a half? I'm asking Chris.
2 hours.
I am.
I'd say 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh, with having to go past Disney and all of that, yeah, it's probably more like 2 hours.
Depending on traffic, I've got an hour and 37. It's 84 miles, so an hour and a half.
Well,
depends on traffic when you do it.
On I-4, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I see Claremont is just west, and then right on 27, and then you got Winter Garden. Osceola isn't bad. Ed, if you can swing it.
All the people we have from Florida in the chat. That's so cool.
Right? Yeah. Again, Ed, if anybody's in the area, if you can swing it and you can get to boots on the ground there, and then call us afterwards and let us know what's going on. Okaloosa is Catsy's. I don't know where that is. Where is I've never heard of that one. That's got to be close, right? Am I even saying it right? Okaloosa?
I think that's further south, but I'm not sure. You know, when I first
that's up by Destin. That's way up. That's way up in the Panhandle, Pensacola.
Oh, okay. I was way off. When I first moved to Florida in 2011, I was in Hernando County. Then after my divorce, I went down to Charlotte County. I actually was on the border of Charlotte County and Sarasota County. I was literally on the border, so it went either way. And now I'm in Hillsborough.
Yeah. Well, everybody, JoJo's in Hamilton. My cat's name is Karen, is in Pensacola. Lynn is in South Africa. She'll fly over. Lady Justice True Crime is in Jacksonville. We had somebody in our chat a while ago named Jack's Girl, I think. Obviously, she's from Jacksonville. Lockbox is in the Panhandle. I'll go if Jules goes.
Well, explain to Lockbox why I can't go. I would love it. They could have stayed here with me, but I can't. My legs aren't cooperating right now.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm doing my red light therapy as we are streaming live.
Ed, if you can swing it and you can go there. If you go every day, that would be aces. But if you can go at least once or twice, just to call in and just tell us what the jury makeup is.
Yes, I'm. That's the thing. I want to know what the jury makeup is, and I love jury reactions, don't I, Chris?
Yes, you do. Yeah. Well, those are the best. Yeah, those are the best. Dates. All right. It's jury selection is scheduled to start the 15th, which is a Tuesday. We don't think they're going to have a jury selected by that day. I think it's going to be at least to the next day, Wednesday. Jules, what do you think?
I don't. Yeah, true. However, breaking news. There's a verdict in Diddy's case.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, Sherry.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to watch it or not.
No. I don't have much of an. I'm interested, but we didn't cover it at all, so I'm not. Yeah. Ed, so let's say the 16th is that Wednesday. If you could swing that Thursday or Friday, maybe what would be easier for you? Would a Friday be better for you? You tell us. Whatever you can swing and get over there. We had, for Monica Cementilli, we had, Hey Mona, she went there twice, I think, at least twice. And she called in afterwards, kind of told us what was going on. We had Diana for Carlos Dominguez, also out in California, up Sacramento. She went twice. We also had the camera operator. We had Newton Ward, the camera operator for Law and Crime. He was in our chat and he called in. We talked to him. So, Ed, if you can get over there at least once, again, whatever is easiest for you. You tell us, a Friday, a Monday. I'm trying to think around a weekend might be easier for you if you want to go on the middle of the day. I don't know what it is that you do, but yeah, man, if you can swing that would be awesome. How many days did it take for them to seat the jury in Casey Anthony?
Oh, I think it was 5 days.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sarah was 2, at least 2, right? Was
we got there the second day that they were doing jury selection, and so it was 3 because they started it the day before we got there, and then it was 2 days. 2 days after that, so it was 3 days.
Yeah. And we actually were able to stream that one jury selection. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe nobody was covering that. We actually had it because we had Scott's equipment and we were covering it.
Yep, that was crazy. Yeah, it was Joel from Surviving the Survivor and me, and we got to sit in the jury box while they were doing. I never ever go for jury selection.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went, we thought, they were gonna seat a jury fairly quickly, and we had no idea that it was gonna go on that long. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Jojo saying so probably 3 to 5 days to seat a jury. God, I hope not. I'm thinking if they do Tuesday, Wednesday, I think 2 full days. I think they'll start on that Thursday, which would be the 17th, or Friday. I'm thinking. I hope it's not 3 to 5 days. I hope not, but you never know. All right. So we have until 1:30. I'm obviously not going to stay on till 1:30. We'll definitely break. Jules, what else do you want to do? You want to go over anything else with the sheriff? That's all really I have was him.
Yeah, honestly, what time is it? It's 10:30, so 9:30, 10:30. I'd like to rest for a bit.
Take the break. Sure, that's fine with me too. Yeah, that's fine.
So, but what are we going to do about Sterns and Kohlberger?
Well, Sterns is the focus. He's also earlier. So let's do Sterns. If he starts at 1:30, I can't imagine this is going to go more than an hour. So
who knows?
And who knows, right? So if any, Kohlberger to me, because we haven't covered it, we know nothing about it. To me, that's just kind of a side project, if you will. So my main focus for this channel is for Sterns. So let's do Sterns, and whenever he ends, we'll just portal everybody over to Kohlberger. And if we're a few minutes late or whatever it is we're late, we'll just pick up on. And if people want to watch with us, they will. And if they don't, that's fine too. So
I have to with Kohlberger.
Okay.
I've got to see if they're actually doing the plea deal today, or and if they are, is he going to stand up and allocute?
Okay. All right. So we will definitely do Kohlberger. It's just a matter of when we'll get to it. If Sterns is done in time, we'll just portal everybody over and we'll do it. And if Sterns goes a little bit longer, we'll still portal everybody over and we'll pick up on Kohlberger when we may be a little behind or whatever it is. So, all right, Jules, thank you for joining us. I'll let you say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you, Chris and Erin, for welcoming me back, and thank you to the chat for the warm welcome. Today is my first day back in the seat. We'll see where it goes.
Yay!
So have a great morning, everyone.
All right, Jules, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you later. All right. Yes, we're going to close this stream. We're going to end this stream, and then we're going to pick back up on Sterns at 1:30. And let's see. Wait, hold on. Wait. Widespread panic. Yeah, we can do whenever. We'll do Sterns. That's my focus. So Sterns and however long he lasts, and then we'll just portal everybody over to Kohlberger. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right. So thank you guys for joining us. Come back at, if he goes on at 1:30, we'll probably come back at like quarter after. So 1:15, just to kind of give everybody a chance to get their seat, get their popcorn, all that good stuff. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our mods. You guys are doing a great job. Really appreciate you all. And thank you, Erin, for all that she does on the back end. And let me see, are there any stars? Let's see pull up some of these. Regina, member for 5 months. Hello, friends. Jules, you look great. Selena K says, so fun to be a part of this community. Member for 5 months. Thank you, Selena. Appreciate your support. Katsy became a YouTube member. Thank you, Katsy. Grizzly, Maggot Mouth is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law and the court of public opinion. He is guilty in going all the way down. Oh, Grizzly. With your snarky snark. Camilla says, how about her mother? What is her involvement in her passing? Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, we talked about that. I know it's, I'm late to pulling that up, but we definitely talked about that. We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. Grizzly said they should tell him Mama Ann can send him root beer barrels and Gen Pop, but not death row. He will plead immediately. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He likes those, right? DSN, thank you so much for your $4.99 super sticker. Appreciate that and your generous donation. Thank you. Marie asked, wonder why Stephan was so fixated on having his parents find the watch. Yeah, right. His watch in a little box. It was in his room. Wonder if he was hiding something he did not tell law enforcement to find. Oh, he did not want law enforcement to find even Maddie's DNA or something. That's a good point. He was obsessed with that watch. I agree. He was definitely obsessed with that watch. Short Life, member for 6 months. Sterns is the worst. I just can't with him. I know. Well, I hope you watch with us, Short Life. I know it'll be tough, but I do hope that you watch with us. Psychosaurus Rex. Jules, please tell me you're using a fabulously rhinestone cane or crutch. I need this to be true. If not, once my back is better, I'm getting on a plane with my Swarovski collection and 6,000 euro. That's funny. All right. Widespread, you had a question in there. Where was the question I saw come up? Thanks for the attempt. Oh, thanks. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Widespread. Appreciate that. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, thank you to our mods. Thank you to Erin. Thank you to all that jumped in. And thank you to Grizzly for coming. Thank you for Nick. We saw Nick in here. We saw Grizzly. Please go and sub on their channels. They are great creators as well. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with both of them. And if not, definitely go check them out. All right, Annie, thank you. New channel for you. Appreciate you coming in and saying hello. And please come back. We'll come back online for Stephan. He got bumped to 1:30 Eastern. So another, 3 hours or so. 11, 3, 12, yeah, 3 more hours. We'll come back on like a little bit before, about quarter after 1. Until then, have a great day. And I will leave you as always with my little paralegal, little Super Ball, her little toy back there. That's the only toy that she likes. Wait, where is it? That little toy back there. It's her oldest toy. She's had it forever. Every cat that comes in always jumps on that toy. Rafa now has claimed it. So, but Super Ball's doing well. So anyway, all right, guys, it's her first toy. Yes, it's her first and only toy. Exactly. All right, guys, I will see you in 3 hours. Let me just get myself set up here. So we're not in, we're in a different stream. Here we go. Okay, guys, see you in a bit. Bye.